Yeah, I'm shaking like a leaf, you guys. Well, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay. First of all, I just want to thank Creative Mornings for giving me this opportunity to speak on the theme of Blossom. So what I love most about photography is the power of the fleeting moment. And I truly believe that a single memory, a single moment can shape us forever. And with all the variables at play, that moment can never truly be recreated. And so for me, that's what makes it so otherworldly and mysterious and special. So, oh, sorry, that was the first slide. That's just the little entry. So blossoms remind me of this too, right? A flower spends so much time hidden in the dirt, first as a seed, and then it germinates, it grows roots and stems and leaves, and then just for a very brief season, it blooms. And that bloom really teaches us to appreciate the present moment and to notice beauty even in its fleetingness. And also that we got to acknowledge the other seasons that play a huge role in getting this flower to bloom. And so, yeah, this theme of blossom feels deeply personal for me right now in many ways. Not only do I literally shoot with flowers and plants all the time, because I think nature is just the most powerfully beautiful gift that we get to experience. But also earlier this year in the spring, my mom passed away unexpectedly. And she was without a doubt my biggest fan and the person who planted and helped water a seed in my spirit a long time ago. And yet, even in this overwhelming and at times debilitating grief, I still feel myself changing and growing and opening. I'm entering a new season of who I am as a person and an artist, and I have no idea what will be on the other side of this time of my life, but I'm just fully surrendering to the fact that I'm broken right now. And it feels like a symbolic death in different ways. But I know that this heartbreak will eventually create a new seed. So, what is the cycle of a blossom? First, there's the seed, right? And when I think about seeds, I think about potential. I think about dreams and ideas and inspiration. And every seed holds that potential, but also not every seed will sprout. And for me, one of the earliest seeds I planted when I was a teenager was this dream of being a big fashion photographer. And at the time, I thought the only way to make that dream come true was to go to school in New York City. So I applied to the School of Visual Arts. It's where like a lot of my photographic heroes went to school. And I was accepted and I moved to Bushwick, Brooklyn. And I had never lived away from home before, and I didn't have a lot of freedom growing up, and photography was truly like the first place for me that I felt safe to express myself. And the whole move and experience was very overwhelming, but I wanted to chase my dream. So I took some gap years. So I was 21 and further away from home than I've ever been. And I'm in my tiny Brooklyn apartment when I open an email and I see the words, there's been an error in processing your financial aid and you're unable to start the semester. So, and yeah, by no means did I have the money to front the cost of tuition, so I wasn't able to start. And things unraveled in many ways. And I felt crushed. And I was really isolated in New York. I was alone. I had no support system there. And I felt like my dream was like slipping through my fingers before it even had the chance to start. And all of these external conditions were kind of like forcing me further away from my dream. And I was in New York, but I didn't really have a reason to be there. And so that seed didn't sprout the way I imagined. And what I've come to realize is that seeds that don't blossom still matter. They teach us resilience, and what we learn in overcoming the disappointment of that unsprouted seed just prepares us for what's truly meant for us. And so those seeds aren't wasted by any means. Maybe they're now just a part of the soil, nourishing what's to come. And then, yeah, after the seed, we have the germination, roots, and growth. So, you know, what are the conditions that allow a seed to grow? And for me, there have been a few. So the first condition, my mom's belief in me. She was a creative person herself, and she decided to pursue her dream and go to art school in her late 30s after having kids. And she got a degree in graphic design and worked really hard to eventually become a creative director. And watching her do that as a young person, I think I was like 14 when she graduated, seeing her prioritize her dream gave me permission to do the same, even on a subconscious level. And we were incredibly lucky to have the very unique experience of working on set together many times. And I cherish these memories so deeply. And so many times I have struggled with confidence in my skills and in my voice, especially not having gone to art school. And she was always watering me with encouragement. And just one person's belief in your work, even if that one person is you, is truly enough to keep going. And a second condition for me to blossom in my work has been consistency. So when things fell apart in New York, I came back to Columbus, but I was so adamant about going back someday, and I just totally put photography on the back burner. I just didn't believe it was possible for me to live my dream here. And so for years, I was working as a server and just feeling so incredibly stuck. And I felt like I was waiting for life to happen to me. And eventually, I just got sick of that feeling and decided to do something. So in 2014, I started a 365 self-portrait project. And I chose to do self-portraits really just because I wasn't comfortable photographing other people yet. And I was figuring out my style and like what I wanted to say. And that practice became watering a seed daily. And it really was just this like moment that clicked for me. Like, why am I waiting on all of these external conditions to be a photographer? Like, why don't I just pick up a camera and keep shooting and figure it out as I go? And I actually made a lot of these photos with my phone at the time, and people made fun of me for it, but the desire to express myself was too powerful to ignore, and the best camera is the one you have. And so the third condition has been community and collaboration. Just like blossoms rely on pollination, my creative life thrives when I connect with others. And like in a literal sense, my photos, would not exist without the other person. And I find so much pride in working within my community. And that's what feels like my soul work. Like, I love a big, commercial or fashion client, and that's always such a joy, but there's nothing like helping my fellow women and my fellow queer folks feel seen and celebrated. And I'm extremely grateful for every human being that has been a part of my work and in turn a part of my evolution as an artist. And in the work we make together, we've been able to witness each other's growth. And thinking of this takes me back to these sessions I did in my home studio in 2019 called the Love Yourself sessions. And I just invited people to sign up, and in lieu of like giving or like celebrating like their love for a partner, to turn that to themselves. And this was just an example of like seeing and celebrating other human bodies in my work and seeing how incredible they all are. And I feel like I've been able to overcome so much of my own internalized body shame, and it's just completely changed the way I see myself. And I see all of our bodies as art, and they're perfect the way they are. And yeah, we blossom together. Photography has really become like my journal. It's a way to process my emotions and make sense of time and my memories. And as someone who grew up feeling largely misunderstood, it's always been my safe place to alchemize my pain. And it's allowed me to move through my darkest times. And I know it will continue to. And my images remind me that growth isn't linear or always outwardly visible, but it's always happening beneath the surface, similar to a flower. So, yeah, what does it mean to truly blossom in our creativity? For me, it's been about finding my voice and taking risks and creating space for transformation. My favorite shoots are the ones where magic happens unexpectedly. And that really happens when we leave room for play and imagination. So this photo always stands out in my mind because I could have never planned to make this image. And I had a shoot scheduled already that day with my friend Ariel. And the night before the shoot, I had a dream that I was hanging onto a tree branch in a storm, and the wind was so strong that it was lifting my body into the air. And I just happened to be telling Ariel about the dream, and she had been a professional ballet dancer for many years with Ballet Med, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can do that." And I was like, "Oh my God, let's like recreate the moment." But yeah, needless to say, we got this in one shot, and it just was exactly what I had envisioned in my dream the night before. And it just felt so surreal how everything lined up for us in that moment. Again, totally unplanned. And just like we can't, force a flower to bloom before its season, I can't really force these moments into existence. And they really come to life when there's this like shared trust and vulnerability and presence between me and the other person. And when that happens, it feels like watching a flower finally open. And that's how, I've been able to blossom in community and collaboration. I always want to be a mirror and mirror someone's beauty back to them and try to help them see themselves the way I do. And there have been so many times I've watched someone walk into a shoot really unsure or guarded. I think that's normal. And by the end, they're standing taller, they're more confident and radiating. And that's truly the moment of blossoming, not just in the photo, but in their spirit. And every time that happens, I feel myself blossom alongside them. And so for me, the camera has really become a way to like water seeds of self-belief and self-worth, to nurture autonomy in our bodies and to honor and celebrate where we are, and to create beauty out of pain, and also to see this act of creating something together as a way to bloom and nurture a seed. So yeah, then there's the seed formation and dispersal. So blossoms are fleeting and they don't last forever. And it's just like the moment of a photograph. But when those blossoms fall and die, seeds scatter and a new cycle can begin. And for me, losing my mom this year feels like the end of a cycle or the beginning of a cycle. I'm not really sure, but, and this is one of her favorite photos. But in her passing, you know, seeds are certainly being replanted to create new life. And seeds of bravery and courage, like me standing up here and doing this talk. And I actually got to tell her about this talk before she passed away. And she was so excited for me. So I'm really doing this for her. Oh, thanks. And yeah, you guys are so sweet. I think back to this thing that happened in 2019. I applied to take this master class workshop with one of my photographic heroes, Ryan McKinley, and I got into this workshop. There was I was one of 10 people across the country that got to go and meet him. And the workshop was organized by this man, Stephen Fraley, who was the former photo dean at SVA, which was the school I was supposed to go to 10 years earlier. And he told me during the workshop, you clearly didn't need SVA. And yeah, it was great. But yeah, when he said that to me, it felt like this permission to let go of the idea that I had to follow a prescribed path, and that the path I was on was working. And now I see it as this huge reminder that blossoming doesn't necessarily depend on being in the right place, like a certain city or a certain school or having a studio or having the right gear. Blossoming can truly happen anywhere when you give yourself the conditions that work for you. And for me, that soil I've always needed in order to blossom has been right here in my hometown of Columbus. So yeah, what do we make of all this, right? I think creativity is cyclical, like nature and like blossoms. Not every idea or dream will grow, but even the failed seeds enrich the soil. And grief and loss are a part of that cycle too, but they plant new seeds within us. Blossoming doesn't depend on location, credentials, or ideal conditions. It depends on showing up and creating your own soil. And yeah, for me, photography and creativity itself is both healing and a shared act of witnessing. And every moment, like every fleeting moment in life and in art, has the power to feed and nourish who we're becoming. And so my hope for everyone is that we keep planting, keep watering, keep growing, keep noticing the beauty of the blossoms when they arrive, and remember that flowers can grow in the darkest parts of you, and trust in the cycles of your creativity. Thank you. Oh my God.